World with the face who runs the place, T-Roy, the OG on the marquee, Jaybird, and the cat who runs the chat with the stats, Statman Surge. We are Don't Hassle Us, We're Local. We're not a Quad City Sports Talk radio show. We're not the Quad City Sports Talk radio show. We are your Quad City Sports Talk radio show. Welcome to the conversation, Quad Cities. But first, the Dawn. Good afternoon, Quad Cities. Thank you for tuning in to ESPN 1170 AM. Don't Hassle Us, We're Local here in the Hassle Castle. Brought to you by the R Bar in Utica. In studio with me, Adrian. Adrian, say hi to everyone.
Hi, Quad Cities.
Brian Stocking.
Absolutely, we're ready to go.
Back giving us the recap of the Tug Fest through the Port Byron's eyes. We heard the LeClaire side where the cornhole was yesterday, Adrian, right?
Yep.
And the corn dogs and no fence jumping and everything else.
Yeah, there's fence jumping in there.
Yeah. But the Tug Fest, how was the Tug Fest for you, Stocking?
It was all right. Friday night I went down and found a nice little shade tree to sit under.
Okay.
And watched the fireworks, and then Saturday morning got up, walked down to the Tug Fest site, found a nice little shade tree, had some food, and listened to my music while I watched the tug, and we rolled as we always did. 7 straight wins. We've won. The 34th year the tug has been contested in the last. So we're 23-11 all time, 23-8 in the last 31. Their little brother. I mean,
Yeah, and speaking of,
the only problem is that Riverdale football lost to PV football in the tug. The first time Riverdale's ever lost, but we won the war, and we lost a couple of battles. The women's team's never lost in the tug. One of my friends from high school has been tugging for like 15 years in the women's tug, and they never lose. And the one thing though that worries me, and I think it should worry the people with the tug, is there was a team from Illinois that tugged in was in a pull. As soon as that 3-minute battle got over, they walked out of the pit, changed shirts, put on brand new shirts, walked back in and tugged again right after they had just tugged. They're running out of tug teams is what worries me. There's been multiple people that they'll tug, then they'll sit out, or they'll tug 2 or 3 tugs, and then they'll sit out and then go to. I mean, when you got people that are tugging 2, 3, 4 times, that's not good for the event.
It's hard to tug that many times.
Yeah, you got to sit down sometimes.
But I mean,
it's too easy.
You had one team. They were in the 4th pull. They tugged. They lost. Got out. Changed their shirts. Went right back into the pit. Not even. And then was in the 5th pull. They also lost that one, but Illinois won the battle.
So why don't you just stop it at like 7 and then just close it down? Be like you didn't get in on time till the point, like best out of 7 type of thing.
Well, they have 3 hours, so it got done in 2 hours this year, which was like exceptionally fast. But I'm saying that the amount of they're running out of teams.
That's what I'm saying.
To fill out the team.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't understand why that's I mean, I can understand like little things like, we're talking just about the other day, like slow pitch kind of going to the wayside or whatever else. But just something once in a year thing, that's not too much asking of your time. I don't know why they're running out of people that want to do it, but
they do practicing.
Yeah, I
Practice
know.
tugs, never a bad thing.
No, you still got to do that too. But so it was good on that side of the river, though? Everyone had a good time?
I think so. I mean, after the event, I went home and relaxed and I didn't go back down. My brother went back down for the music, but
Gotcha.
I didn't go down for, because I'm not a big music person.
So,
I don't know, to me, Sinatra and Dean Martin's a pretty good thing, but
there you go.
In fact, Saturday night I watched El Dorado, John Wayne movie.
Oh, wow.
Can't beat a good John Wayne movie.
You can't. Yeah, my father
Duke
would say
Wayne
the same
beats
thing.
up the bad guys.
John who?
John Wayne.
John Wayne.
One of the greatest actor
It was
of all
listed
time.
on. Oh, you missed it because you were at the Tug Fest playing. The cornhole.
You're right.
It was listed.
Missed it.
Iowans, famous people born in Iowa.
Okay.
And then we were talking about this on Friday, Merrick and I, and we were like, how could they list off Seth Rollins?
Oh, wow. They did
Like
leave
right now, I mean, outside, he's probably the most...
They left off Bob Feller, which is also a sin.
yeah, that's a bad one, too. But there's, I mean, we were kind of talking about it. Like, all right, who is, like, the most famous... And I know he's not... We won't say he's not an athlete per se, but sports entertainer, we'll throw it in there. Because we can't say, like, because Ashton Kutcher is probably the most famous, right? But who right now is the most famous athlete from Iowa?
Dan Gable.
Yeah. I don't even think they put him on there, to be honest with you.
Huh.
How can you not put Dan Gable, Bob Feller?
A lot of people
Well,
off.
how can
And
Fox
Duke
not
Wayne.
put on Seth Rollins when all they're doing is pushing Friday Night SmackDown?
Yeah.
That's a crazy thing to leave off. Same thing with Bob Feller and Dan Gable. I know John Wayne was on there. I know Johnny Carson was on there. I know Ashton Kutcher was on there. Yeah, they really didn't get too. They didn't have Shawn Johnson on there.
How can you not have Shawn Johnson?
I don't know.
mean, one of the probably the greatest gymnast from the state of Iowa. You know,
I don't even know. I'm pretty sure they had. I think they had Kurt Warner on there. Now I'm thinking about it.
Fox's research department's not very well staffed. I mean, you know,
I could go back. I can go back and find the list, but I'm not gonna do it now. We've got all kinds of things to talk about. We've got MLB power rankings to look at. We'll discuss that a little bit later on. News around the league. Hey guys, Tim Tebow was let go.
I was waiting for you to say that.
I thought that. You know, I honestly thought he was going to be the Jacksonville starting quarterback because Herb needs. You know, Herb likes to make everyone think he's smarter than he actually is.
Sure.
You know, and if you look at, let's say, you know, he's not. He's obviously this weekend. They also said he's actually looking at Gardner Minshew. I mean, please. I mean, you got Trevor Lawrence. And my feeling was Tebow's going to come in, be the quarterback. If they start off 0-5, Herb's going to say, well, you know, at least I gave him a chance, you know. And then, but if he starts out good, if he starts out like, say, 2-3, Herb's a genius. He found something in Tebow that nobody else could find. How is he able to pull this out of Tebow, out of people that, you know, have no talent? And, you know, and the other problem was what if let's say Lawrence struggled, and let's say they go 1-4, 1-5, he gets knocked out of a game. He brings in Tebow, and Tebow looks like a different quarterback. Now he's got a quarterback controversy. You got Tebow mania 10 years later, like in Denver, like you had in Denver.
I don't think there was any chance of him playing quarterback at all this year. Maybe for a snap or two, in a couple games.
I put nothing past Urban Meyer.
Yeah,
Urban likes to think
I don't
he's
see that
smarter
happening.
than everyone else. Urban Meyer reminds me of Wile E. Coyote, where he goes, Wile E. Coyote.
Maybe a trick
super
player, too.
genius. And that's what Urban Meyer thinks he is, a super genius.
What was the reasoning behind it outside of the obvious? Did they have a statement, like, or was it just like they just...
I didn't see a statement from anybody but Tebow, and just said he was grateful for the opportunity to, like, you know, he said all the right things on the way out of the door.
He's gonna be great in the XFL. I can't wait.
Well,
they've got to sign. He's got to go to the XFL.
for
right?
what? I mean,
Why not? Why, if you're the XFL, it's a no-brainer to sign him.
He's got no talent,
Be the face.
though.
What?
There's some talent there. There's not no talent. He was still competing in minor league baseball. He won a playoff game.
They threw.
He won a playoff game.
He played in one. There was one target thrown his way that some other guy in Jacksonville caught. There was a block that's gone viral where he didn't even get his block and instead accidentally end up spearing one of his teammates.
Okay,
I mean,
that I understand. Moving another, and this is someone else was talking about this, and I agree with it. Moving another human being against their will is not an easy thing to do, and it's not a thing to actually that you can teach overnight. I don't know where this whole tight end thing came from, but. Oh well. I mean, you've also seen the reports that if LeBron James wanted to right now, he could be a tight end in the NFL.
No, I think.
Yeah. But what's to say? Why would you say no to him being in the XFL though?
I don't think. Well, where are they going to play him? Not tight end.
Quarterback.
But he was a terrible quarterback.
No.
Still won a playoff game.
But one playoff game because Pittsburgh didn't know how to play defense against him. The week later, what happened when they actually
he won more than just one
defense?
game though.
He got schooled by New England.
Yeah,
New England clobbered him. They slaughtered him.
They did. New England just did New England things. They realized he wasn't going to beat
New
him.
England slaughtered everybody for 10 years.
Yeah, they
Not
just
like that.
They
though.
took away whatever the Denver Broncos at the time had and just said, "This is your best asset. We're going to take that away. Now beat us some other way." And that's just
Did he
what
win a
New England
national championship as a quarterback
He
too?
sure
At
did.
Florida.
Yeah, after a loss and said, "We will not lose again."
Weird.
And-
Started over Cam Newton.
Yeah.
Okay, college success does not equate pro success. Otherwise,
You can't transfer that over to the XFL though.
Pat Sullivan would have been a great pro. Chuck Long would have been a great pro.
They would all be great in the
I enjoyed
XFL.
I think he will be. Well, I'm telling
Why
you.
wouldn't you be the
I
face?
don't
Why
think-
wouldn't you walk in and be the face?
Because you want someone competent, and he's not competent.
Well, I'm telling you.
How is he not competent?
I'm telling you, if you're an XFL team, if you're the XFL owner, you put him in that portal for drafting or whatever else. I'm sorry, he moves the needle. I mean, everyone was talking about it right away. It was breaking news on your notification. I started with it just because of the laugh about it. I could care
He's
less
a
about the guy.
sideshow.
Sure, so is
Perfect.
David Ross.
So is the XFL.
Sorry.
He's the XFL. If the XFL wants to be a credible football organization, they can't have sideshows, and Tim Tebow would be a sideshow.
It'll get people talking about it.
You'll get people talking.
Look at
about
us
it.
already.
Mm-hmm.
But the XFL's not going to be seen as credible. If
They
Tim
already
Tebow,
aren't.
They haven't
If
been. They
Tim-
never have been. They never will be.
if they want to be credible, and they're talking about XFL.
They just want to put
USFL,
people in the
you
seats.
If you want to be credible, you can't put this sideshow out there because the XFL already has a bad reputation from what Vince McMahon did with the first one 20 years ago, and the second XFL closes up shop real quick. If you want to be if you are the XFL and you are committed to being a credible sports organization, you can't have Tim Tebow as your face.
Well, now you have a savior in Tim Tebow coming in as your face.
He's not a savior.
Make you credible.
He's not. If he was such a good football player, he would be in the NFL. He's not a good football player.
Well, none of these guys in the XFL are going to make it go into the NFL, and they're hoping for it's one of their last shots. But listen, he's got it. It doesn't matter. He doesn't have to. He's got a job going back to being a college football analyst. He could go be a sideline reporter. Heck, I wouldn't be surprised if he's a tight ends coach for Jacksonville tomorrow. I wouldn't be shocked by
Just
that.
keep
Not
him
one
around the
bit.
locker
Yes.
room, you know. Keep,
Urban
Team-
Meyer's drinking buddy.
No, team pastor is what he'll end up being. Yeah, we needed a team pastor. We brought him on. He's like, yep, I got ordained over the weekend. Cost $35 online. So I mean,
University of Phoenix.
yeah, yep. I would not be surprised at all if he's still doing something or if he's coaching some way or another.
He'll be. I mean, he's not going to
Let
go.
the man live
he's
his
not
dreams.
going to go into a cave, but he'll probably be. He'll be back at ESPN being the an analyst on the SEC Game of the Week or whatever, or
They
one of
love
their
it.
studio shows.
Yep.
Not a bad gig.
No.
No,
Get paid
it's
well
not.
to that.
Huh?
Get paid well to do that.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of, what station is Alex Smith going to go to now?
ESPN, I think.
He's going to ESPN. Good
Yeah.
for him.
Yeah.
I'm happy for that guy.
You know, I wanted to see him do one more year. It's unfortunate. I really
I
thought
didn't.
I just want one more year.
I did not.
Let's keep him protected.
Every time he dropped back, I was like, oh no.
This is the moment.
No,
This is the moment.
No.
When
We should
you
not be allowing this to happen.
Yeah, when you see how bad, and when people are comparing it to the Joe Theismann injury, possibly some people have said maybe even worse than the Theismann injury. I think he came back, he played all right, but
I think the comeback player of the year award should be named the Alex Smith Award.
I mean
It's not bad.
he retired, and I think that I'm glad he's got his health. And that, it was, you were like going, oh my God, because of how catastrophic that knee injury was. I mean, that was one of the worst injuries that,
That's the one thing I don't like about the NFL is when the possibilities of injuries or when they show them over and over again. And I gladly have never seen that injury because I hide my eyes. Seriously, I've seen Joe Theismann, and that was enough for me the rest of the time. And so when it comes up and if I'm listening, majority of the time, if I'm at home on a Sunday, if I'm not watching a game, I'm watching the Red Zone just to have it on the background because I like that guy because I just can't imagine what it's like to be that hopped up on Red Bull and uppers and whatever else because that guy's nuts. But then they'll say like, avert your eyes if you don't want to see this. And every time I'm not going to pay attention. I don't. And then so I've now trained myself to be when someone says like, hey, see this or it's on Facebook or whatever else to scroll through fast. So.
The Napoleon McCallum injury.
There you go.
when
That's
he was
another
with
one.
the
Now
Raiders.
that was on Monday Night Football,
Yep,
wasn't it? So
against the 49ers
was in,
week 1.
I was in the dorms then. I remember that. So that would have been 94, 95, right?
Yep, 94.
And I do remember that one, and I remember being very sick. And what's the other one? Is it Willis McGahee? Did he have an injury at college at Ohio State? Is that right? Didn't someone where his knee went a little bit backwards but came back?
Against Ohio in the Fiesta Bowl.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was it.
Who was the kid from Louisville? That in basketball.
Oh,
not
yeah.
me.
Smith, I
me.
think, was his last name. Or Ware.
Yeah, I think it was
against
Ware,
Duke
yep,
in
yep.
the regional.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Wendell Davis against the Eagles at the Vet came down and blew out both knees at the same time when he landed on whatever that junk was that they put over the concrete at Veterans Stadium, because the old AstroTurf, that stuff was nasty bad, especially at the Vet.
Let's jump over, and this will be our last time before we go to break. The worst kept secret, thanks to Grandpa Rossi, has now been leaked, and it still hasn't been confirmed, though, but supposedly the Cubs and the Reds are going to be August 11th at Field of Dreams next year. Great announcement. I don't think we can deny that. Stocking, how did you feel about Field of Dreams?
I thought it was a great game.
Okay.
I mean, it wasn't the greatest game ever. It wasn't the greatest finish ever. It was a very good game.
It was probably the most well-produced regular season game.
It was probably
How's that?
It's probably the best regular season game.
What
of
I
the
say,
year.
what I see, it was like the most watched baseball game in 16 years.
In the regular season.
Regular
Yeah.
season game in
Yeah.
16 years.
Now, I thought about that. So, what was the other one 16 years ago regular season?
Probably Yankees Red Sox, because that would have been 2005.
After the team won the
Either
2004.
that or maybe an interleague game, maybe the Yankees Cubs.
Because the first one that comes to mind was the first game at New York after 9/11. Would have been one like the most watched regular season game. All right, but I can't really think of a lot of others most watched regular season game.
I'm thinking if it's 2005, you're either looking at the Yankees Red Sox or maybe like the Yankees Cubs or Red Sox Cubs, because it seems like that was the year, one of the years they played, and maybe that was like the first trip of the Yankees.
Then again, how often does Fox put prime time?
Well,
Major
that
League
was
Baseball
prime.
game?
I don't think that was prime time. I don't think that was prime time back then, because they didn't start prime time.
But 7 o'clock is prime time. That was 7 o'clock East Coast.
Right, but
Yeah.
they don't usually do prime time
No,
baseball.
they don't. That's what I'm saying. So most watched. I mean, how often are you going to have a most watched game regular season? Unless it's game 163, and you're going to need something like Dodgers versus Giants for a game 163, or Yankees versus Red Sox for a 163.
Lately, though, the Fox Saturday games are all prime time games. Back in 2005, when we're talking, they didn't do primetime games back then on Saturday. So I'm thinking maybe it was Yankees Cubs or Cubs Red Sox, or maybe Yankees Red Sox as a prime. That was a Saturday game, because back then they didn't do primetime baseball like they do now. And this was a primetime game. It was I think it may have been Fox's first regular season primetime game on Big Fox since maybe Sosa McGuire 98, when McGuire hit the homer to edge out Maris.
Against who?
It was against the Cubs.
Who was pitching?
Steve Trashel.
That a boy. Yeah, Steve Trashel. I like how you threw that in there. So this is interesting. I didn't even think about that. Israel points out, say, Cubs, Reds, and he points out the Reds were the other half of the 1919 World Series. So I guess it does have significance to that.
Yeah, it's one of the oldest franchises in baseball.
But the thing, though, is you're going to have a lot of fans with the Cubs. But I think, here's the thing. Field of Dreams was a novelty this year. I'm trying to be honest. I'm not capping.
Sure, that's fine.
I think it was a great thing. I like the fact that they're going to go back. But I think for Field of Dreams going forward, because eventually the novelty will wear off.
Yeah.
I think they need to start maybe looking at historic rivalries there, like Yankees Red Sox, Dodgers Giants, Cubs Cardinals. I don't think Cubs Reds to me is a historic rivalry.
No,
I mean,
but neither was White Sox Yankees.
But White Sox Yankees. There was a time where the White Sox and the Yankees were the two best teams in the American League for a series of years. In the late 50s, early 60s.
I mean, you remember that, and maybe a White Sox fan or a Yankees fan or someone that's 30, 40 years older. I mean, but other than that, I mean, that's not. I mean, the White Sox haven't. When was the last time they won a playoff game? 2008. Last time they made the playoffs was 2008.
Yeah, but the White Sox. I mean, you had to have the White Sox for the first one.
Of course, and I would be okay almost if it was the White Sox stayed there every year if it was their type of game. But I'm going back to what we talked about. I don't know if it was Friday or whatever else, but I think that it's either. I do believe that you should make it a thing that every year it's 2 teams that didn't play there before, and it is a big deal, and it's an announcement. And I'm glad Joey Votto gets to go, and congratulations on getting his 3,000th hit yesterday to Mr. Votto. But I just would like to see someone who's on the back end of their career, or just not even that, someone who doesn't say much in social media, but Mike Trout goes out and ats MLB and ats Manfred, like, I want to play in this game. Please schedule me next year in it. It would be cool to see them lobby, individual players lobby for their team to be there.
But do you really think that Neil's going to be moved if it's Rangers, Mariners,
no,
or Pirates, Rangers? No, they're not gonna. So you're not gonna have this procession of team. It's not gonna be like the Hall of Fame game where everybody gets a shot at it. I think that they're gonna have to make a decision, down the road, maybe 5 years down the road.
Oh, I got one for you though. How about it is Blue Jays versus Mariners or something like that, and then the tickets are affordable. Yeah, and then the state of Iowa wins again because now Iowans get to go and they're not relying on a lottery.
Blue Jays, Mariners?
I would in a heartbeat. I go watch Vlad Guerrero. Are you kidding me? Absolutely, I would.
You're going to watch Pirates, Rangers?
Yes. With the tickets being more affordable, I would.
Sure.
100%.
Yeah. Come on. They did it. It's prime time. You're on Thursday night. You get there. You go. You get to be.
You get the entire experience.
Yeah, you get the experience. And if they make it into a 5-day thing, like Izure said, I mean, that you can. That's nothing for a drive, too.
I still don't think people.
Cubs are going to be ridiculous priced. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
and then that's what they're going to do. They're going to
expensive.
outprice themselves that everyone's like, I don't even care who's going anymore because they're going to be like, I can't afford that.
Cub tickets are already out of price when they're at home. Mm-hmm. I mean, you've got insane prices for bleacher tickets and for Wrigley. I mean, the Cubs have a lot of issues, and I mean, this is maybe one of the worst, definitely the most disappointing Cubs team I've seen, and maybe one of the most wretched. I mean,
yeah,
we could talk about that after the break, how wretched they were.
We can talk about that. Stocking, very good just off the top of your head, bringing up that it was probably Yankees-Boston Red Sox game that was 2005 because it was. Yeah. I mean, good. Yeah, that's the Erickson looked it up. And it said that was the last one, and that they said in 16 years. I like what Anderson said. Why would you say Dumb and Dumber with Dumb and Dumberer, though? I mean, the White Sox Yankees wasn't Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, I didn't understand that comment.
I think it's because he wanted the Cardinals to be there.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I understand that.
They'll get there eventually.
I mean, it is going to be astronomical. And if I was Izurays, I would put that house on Airbnb. If I lived there.
Might be time to just buy a house there.
Yeah. Ooh, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Make a little investment. Get after it. And then also, Izure says on the Hair and Split Facebook comment, at Field of Dreams, I'll watch Orioles Diamondbacks. I would too. I would too. Can you imagine if Cal Ripken comes out and throws first pitch? I get to see Cal throw first pitch or something. I would love that.
Luis Gonzalez.
Luis Gonzalez
them both
back.
throwing the first pitch.
That'd be great.
Absolutely.
Gracie comes into it. Yeah, I'm all for it.
Orioles Diamondbacks would be one of the worst games ever in the. I mean, it would be better to have like 2 high school, junior high, 2 JV teams play than the Orioles and Diamondbacks.
All right. Well, we'll take a break and come back and talk about your question, Stocking. Is it going to be the Iowa Cubs or the Chicago Cubs that play there next year? So that's good. It's a good question. We'll take a break here at ESPN 1170 AM. Don't hassle us. We're local.
The Rock says he's going to make your Rudy Poo candy ass famous.
You like that? You like that?
Give me a hell yeah. I said give me a hell yeah.
This is Julian Vandervelde, and you are listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local.
Elite Sportsbook is offering a $25 free bet when you wager $100 plus on a pro football future throughout the month of August. Choose from season champion, who makes the playoffs, regular season wins, and much more. Elite Sportsbook has made it easier to wager with their newly released mobile app. Download today and play your game with Elite Sportsbook. Must be 21. Gambling a problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
We're planning a trip to Spain later this year.
But our Spanish
is pretty bad. So we're using Babbel.
Babbel's conversation-based method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
There's no easier way to learn another language.
Ahora hablamos español.
He just said now he speaks Spanish.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free. Just go to babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
This is Renee.
Happy to be here.
She's not some influencer. She's more of a groundbreaker, turning her 4-acre lot into a little slice of heaven behind the wheel of a John Deere 1 Series tractor. Renee runs with us because the most important job is the next one.
That's all I got.
Nothing runs like a Deere. Get a 1 Series tractor for just $99 per month at your John Deere dealer today. For additional cost information, please call toll-free 855-633-2315.
Benito's line cook just threw in his kitchen towel.
This order needs to go out right now.
He needs to find help before his customers are left waiting.
So sorry. We'll be right with you. Who's got table 6?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. With Indeed Instant Match, we immediately show you quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed meet your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
So you think you have unlimited data?
Recalculating.
Think again. If you're on a network you can't trust, then your data is limited, and so are you. Get unlimited and save with Total Wireless. Get 4 lines with unlimited data on 5G from the network more Americans depend on, with 100 gigabytes at high speed, then 2G for just $25 a month per line.
You have arrived at your destination.
Total Wireless. Do amazing. Available at Total Wireless stores. 5G capable device and SIM required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See terms and conditions at TotalWireless.com.
3 Doors Down, the Better Life 20th Anniversary Tour. Friday, September 10th, the Rust Belt, 3 Doors Down, with special guest 2021 American Idol winner Chase Beckham. For the first time ever, the Better Life played in its entirety, plus all the hits. Tickets on sale now at therustbeltqc.com. 3 Doors Down with Chase Beckham, the Better Life 20th Anniversary Tour.
I'm Taylor Bisciotti with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. Dak is back. Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott returned to practice Monday after missing the last few weeks of camp with a sore right shoulder. Dallas head coach Mike McCarthy says he's feeling, quote, no urgency to play his starting quarterback this preseason. Either way, Prescott says he'll be ready to play week 1. So who will the Patriots starting quarterback be week 1? Even Cam Newton doesn't know. The Patriots current quarterback 1 said Monday he is yet to be told if it will be him or rookie first-round pick Mac Jones under center in New England's opener. The Niners expect Pro Bowl defensive end Nick Bosa to be able to practice in full next week. The 2019 Defensive Rookie of the Year has been out since suffering a season-ending knee injury last September. Eagles first-round pick Devontae Smith returned to practice Monday. He's been out the past 2 weeks with a knee sprain. No word yet on when he'll make his preseason debut. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Napa know-how.
At Napa, get a $10 gift card when you buy a 5-quart jug of Mobil 1 motor oil for $27.99. A deal so rich, they'll call you an oil tycoon. Yep, with great oil for $27.99 and $10 back. All you'll need is a monocle. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating locations does not include state, local taxes, or recycling fees. Advertised sales price may not be available in some states. Rebate restrictions apply. Offer ends 8/31/21.
The real estate market is always tough. But this market, it's unlike anything we've ever seen. When the average home stays on the market just 24 days and houses routinely go for more than the listing price, who you work with matters. Realtors have the expertise, local knowledge, and personal touch to give you a competitive advantage throughout the entire home buying process. And that's something an ordinary agent could never do. So make sure your agent is a Realtor. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
Spend the day on the patio and enjoy the game with your sports leader, ESPN 1170.
Welcome back to Don't Hassle Us Local here on ESPN 1170 AM. We're in the Hassle Castle, brought to you by our bar on Utica. Let's take a look at some scores yesterday in Major League Baseball. The Yankees beat the Angels 2-1. The Cincinnati Reds 14-5 over the Cubs. 13 in a row for the Cubs. 12. Also, not to be outdone, the Baltimore Orioles lost their 12th in a row on the same day to the Tampa Bay Rays, 9-2. Atlanta Braves beat the Marlins 12-2 on the road. White Sox won at home against the A's 5-2. Royals defeated the Astros by 1 run at home 7-6. Twins went into extra innings and beat the Indians. Rockies 6-5 over the San Diego Padres. Giants 7-5 over the Mets, and the Dodgers win at home against the Pirates 2-1. Games that are going to be played today. We got one going on right now: Boston Red Sox and the Yankees. Then the rest of them are all night games because that's a doubleheader. Boston and Yankees will go again at 6 o'clock. Toronto at the Nationals. Cubs and Cincinnati. Kyle Hendricks on the mound, 13-5 on the year, 4.15 ERA. Angels at Detroit. Braves at the Marlins. Orioles and Tampa Bay Rays. Milwaukee Brewers and St. Louis Cardinals play tonight, 6:45. Adam Wainwright on the mound for them, 11-6, 3.27 ERA. Seattle goes to Texas. Oakland A's stay in Chicago to take on the White Sox. Reynaldo Lopez, 1.35 ERA, 1 win on the year. Houston at Kansas City. Cleveland at Minnesota. Colorado plays host to the Padres again. Diamondbacks and Phillies will get after it tonight. Giants and Mets. And then finally Pittsburgh and Dodgers again. Happy birthday to Dustin Pedroia. He turns 38 today. And Jesse Winker turns 28. There's a Cincinnati Red who's doing some things, right?
I think he's on the injury list.
Yeah, but he's still doing things for the
doing
team.
great.
I mean, they're out there.
Yeah, it was in the All-Star, on
Yep.
the All-Stars.
Nick Castellanos, you guys remember that guy, right?
Yep.
Yeah, he's
You know
doing
that
well
guy.
too. Yeah.
Everyone's doing well outside of Chicago, except for Chicago.
Well, isn't that the interesting thing to put the Cubs in there, because it's not a fire sale, but it's an investment maybe in your future. But those guys are not going to be highlighted for a while, so it's interesting to put the Cubs in the Field of Dreams game.
Yeah, I mean, it might be easier to put the Iowa Cubs because they might provide more of a battle against the Reds than the Chicago ones. This is maybe one of the worst Cub teams I've seen.
That's fine. That's exactly what they wanted to be. They want to lose games right now. They want to get a higher draft pick. They want these guys to be better.
This isn't the NFL, though. I mean, in the NFL, you get a higher draft pick. You could hear, the NFL or the NBA, we tank because we're going to get a high draft pick. That guy's going to be on that team next year. You draft a guy in the minor, he's going to go to the minors. He's going to be in South Bend next year, or maybe Tennessee at the end of the year. He's not going to be with the Cubs for 2-3 years. I mean, this idea, we tank, this isn't the NFL or the NBA where we get a draft pick, he's going to be there the next year. He might be 2-3 years, and there's
you
no
still have
guarantee.
the chance to get somebody like Bryce Harper
or you could
Steven
get Pete
Strasburg
Chilcutt.
more.
Those are first overall, though.
Or you could get Pete
and Baltimore
Chilcutt.
are going for that right now. And then Pittsburgh's after that. Let's see where the Cubs are at. Right now, currently, they have the 4th worst record.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the Cubs had a chance to re-sign all these guys in the offseason.
No, that's not true.
They could have.
No, I'm talking about their worst record. Sorry, I'm speaking.
It's like 6th, I think it looks like.
They had a chance for Bryant. They had a chance at Rizzo, a good chance at Rizzo, and they had to deal with a chance at Baez. They decided not to go out, not to sign any of them. Now they're in this situation where you've got Tom Rickett, the Ricketts family. They're buying up every apartment area in Wrigleyville because they want to start building things onto the rooftops. Because if you've watched Marquee Network, they're not showing pictures of the rooftops. They also are putting good money after bad money into Marquee Network, where they're finding out what the Yankees found out, that starting your own network is not easy. You have to have property besides baseball. And that's where, to get the properties, you have to buy them. So the Cubs have been claiming poverty all year. So they lost 11 games at the start in the middle in I think June, July. Now they're on a 12-game losing streak. This is the first time since 1954 that the Cubs have had multiple 10-game or more losing streaks. The last homestand against where they got swept by the White Sox and the Brewers was the first homestand of that length since 1943 where the Cubs didn't get a win. You look at the Cubs, the last games against Milwaukee, those games were god-awful bad. They lost 10-0, 17-4. Then they go out and they give up 11 runs in a second-inning disaster in Miami. They had a stretch of 20 innings where they had given up 12, 20, 39 runs in 20 innings. That's almost 2 runs an inning. That is unsustainable. You look at the Cubs, Jason Hayward's hitting 199. David Bodie's hitting 198. Ian Happ is your winner for worst batting average with 182. Alcantara, who started off decent, is now hitting 191. And you got 4 guys in the lineup who are hitting under 200. Then they trade their heart. They trade Rizzo. Then they go and they trade Bryant. They trade Baez. All right, yes, they're rentals, but you can still get good pieces. They got guys in A-ball. A-ball players are not automatically going to be on your major league roster in a year or two.
Well, they had to do not yet. No.
They also sent money to the Yankees and the Mets. They sent money to the Mets. They trade Baez, Williams, and Cash for a guy in Class A ball who's got a shoulder injury.
Who, Armstrong Crow?
Yeah.
But they got the Yankees number 9 prospect and all all minors that end up now as the Cubs number 2 prospect.
And some of these prospects are already
you cannot tell me
themselves.
You wanted Tyler Yansborough or who was the other one? Kevin Kiermaier from the
Glasnow
from the Rays. Tyler Glasnow and Kevin Kiermaier from the Rays for Chris Bryant or whatever else.
You get what you get. You get the best deal possible.
You don't take
Class
you don't
A
take
players are not the best deal possible.
I say you don't want Kevin Kiermaier. You don't want Glasnow. You don't want anything like that. You're just impeding progress by bringing someone just to be like, see, we got a name.
It's the same thing you're doing right now. If you trade for those guys like that, they're underperformers.
You got to get players that are going to be either at the major league level in a year or two, or already at the major league level. When the Cubs made their rebuild in 2003, they traded for Anthony Rizzo. Rizzo was a major leaguer. Yes, he hadn't done much, but he was a major leaguer. When they got Jake Arrieta, when they had that fire sale with the Orioles, they got Pedro Strop, who had been, I think, if not in the majors, in AAA, and they had Jake Arrieta, who was an opening day star for Baltimore.
That wasn't 2003.
No, I said when they 2013. Then
okay, there you go.
You know
I know what you're saying, but you put them within the playoffs in 2015 within 2 years because they were in the NLCS. I get your point there. Okay, but the Rizzo thing,
he was barely in the bigs. He wasn't doing anything great with.
No, I didn't say he was doing anything great. I said, but you had
neither
guys
was Jake Arrieta. Jake Arrieta couldn't find it at all either.
Right.
He was the 4 starter for. Was he opening day starter for the Orioles?
He was opening day starter
because there was nobody else there.
Well, but the thing though is they were still major leaguers. They still had major league experience. They
barely.
This was it was better to get that than minor leaguers who may never pan out. Because if these minor leaguers that the Cubs have put so much faith in, if they don't pan out, which is a very good possibility, not every player in A-ball is going to be a superstar in the majors. If these guys don't pan out, the Cubs are going to be these are going to go down as some of the worst trades in Cub history. And this is from a franchise that traded Lou Brock for Ernie Broglio and several other bad deals that they've made in the past.
We didn't know that Jake Arrieta and Anthony Rizzo were going to pan out at the time either.
I'm not saying that they did, but I'm saying they actually
neither one of them could get it together
until
they got over to Chicago.
They actually had major league experience.
Barely.
They actually were in the major
minimal
leagues.
Experience.
This gives you something to say, hey, yes, they've got major league experience. When you look at guys in the minors, there's no guarantee. Look at the River Bandits, how many great teams that they've had. How many River Bandits from those championship teams that they've had the last few years are up at the major leagues? Kyle Tucker and maybe a couple others, but it's not the whole team.
It's a chance you take. It's like almost gambling. It's what they're hoping for, and they put the people in position to go and get these guys. They didn't just pick these guys out of a hat. They went and scouted these guys.
These are not good gambles, though. These are terrible gambles. You
talk to me in 3 years.
When they're in 3 years, we'll probably be seeing how bad they are. Because if these guys don't pan out, the Cubs are going to be the Baltimore Orioles. And the Baltimore Orioles right now is maybe baseball's worst franchise.
But don't you have? So are you saying you lack faith in the front office?
I lack a lot of faith in Jed Hoyer and Tom Ricketts.
Okay.
If they back the truck up, the first 2 people on the truck should be Jed Hoyer and David Ross. And then the pitchers, the 2 pitchers that they had in that 11 inning whatever that was in Miami, Abert Ozzie, who's 4-13 and god awful lately, and Dan Winkler, who also is in the middle of last night's debacle, that 8-run 7th inning mess in Cincinnati. Put those two guys on the truck also.
What about the guys we got for people like Chafin and Kimbrel? And there's pieces all over the place.
Frank Schwindel does not impress me.
No, not Schwindel. I said Chafin and Kimbrel.
Yeah, that's
who we got for them.
We got, I think Schwindel was the guy we got from Oakland for Chafin.
Chafin was a rental. Yeah. Chafin was a 1 year. He was terrible in Arizona. He was coming, and we got a piece back from him that we never even expected. If he didn't perform like he did, we would have got nothing for him, and he would have been nobody.
We also didn't get much though for Kimbrel. I mean, what did we get for Kimbrel? We got a guy that's injured right now that may not play, and if he comes back, he may not be the same guy because he injured his leg, and leg injuries doesn't mean you're automatically going to come back better than you were before you were injured.
I have trust in the process.
I don't trust the Cub front office.
I don't know what the answer is, though. I mean,
it's going to be a very long few years.
2 years, we're back in the playoffs.
Do you take anything away from Theo?
They're going to spend money as well here in the offseason.
Has Theo hurt his legacy?
The legacy, with Theo out of Chicago, now it's going to all come to Jed Hoyer. Yeah. I think historically, down the line, it may reflect badly on Theo because if you look, I mean, I don't think Theo's ever going to be a GM again of a team. I mean, yeah, he did well in Boston, but towards the end of his Boston reign, he spent like a drunken sailor on shore leave. Then in Chicago, he put the pieces together. The Cubs got some luck, and then towards the end, he spent like a teenager with a credit card to burn. Yeah. I mean, you look at the Cubs. How close did the Cubs come in 2016 to not winning it all? I mean, they were down, what was it, 4-1 or 4-0 to San Francisco in that 9th inning of Game 4. They lose that. They come back to Game 5 at Wrigley.
Hold on, Stock. Hold that thought, okay? ESPN 1170 AM. Who we got?
It's Easer A's.
Hey, Easer A's. What's up, buddy?
Not much. I hate to interrupt this epic rant from Stocky.
You're great.
But it is amazing how angry Cubs fans are about all this.
Well, I will say this on the Harrington's Pub Facebook comment thread, what Anderson just wrote, it reminds me of a few things. And he said ownership is just trying to build up the area rather than the team because they know people will come to Wrigley and spend lots of money to watch piss-poor baseball. That reminds me a lot of what I was going through in the 90s and why I pretty much had it after Sandberg retired and Gracie left. So, I don't know if it's angry. I mean, Stocking doesn't represent the entire Cubs thing. Adrian's pretty fine over here with trusting the process.
Yeah, I'm happy with it.
You
had to get rid of these guys. These guys have been underperforming for years now. I'm tired of seeing these guys underperform for these last few years. Let's get something for them. Let's try it out. Let's see what happens. Do you want to see Baez and Rizzo and Bryant just continued? Sorry, Easer A's. Go ahead.
Let Easer A's go, yeah.
That's all right. My question, though, is like, what is the model that the Cubs want to follow? I understand everyone's kind of afraid because this happened to, I think I always go back to like those 08-09 Phillies. They signed like Ryan Howard and Chase Utley and Jimmy Rollins after they won that World Series with Roy Halladay. And then they never did anything again, and then they were stuck with those bad contracts for all those years, and they couldn't move it. They couldn't move Jimmy Rollins or Chase Utley until the end, and they never ended up actually moving Ryan Howard's bad deal. But I think if you look at it from the other way, if the Cubs would have had some forethought back in 16, 17, 18 and signed those guys through their arbitration years and then maybe gotten some good faith with them, then you could maybe be looking at, I don't know, the best team in baseball whose core is from World Series titles in 2012 and 2014. And 7 years later now, they're the best team in baseball and have a 4-game lead on the Mega Dodgers. Who's leading the Giants? Old guys. Evan Longoria, Brandon Crawford, who they just signed to a 2-year extension. He's 34 years old. They signed him. Buster Posey, ending his free agency year. And then they brought in all these younger guys with something to prove. The model does not have to be the Phillies model. They could have done more 2 or 3 years ago instead of waiting till 2021. That was the end cap, and I think Anderson's onto it. The ownership saw 2022 as the year that they were going to be done and move on.
I don't think this is a shock as far as on my end. Like I said, it wasn't to do a hot take when making predictions at the beginning of the year, and I said that the Cubs would finish dead last in the Central. That wasn't a hot take. It wasn't to get people the needle moving to be like, no, can't believe you said it. I just didn't. I thought we've all were smart enough to know that they couldn't sign these 3 guys, that they were going to have to get rid of them if they weren't there. I think all year long we've been like, are these guys for real? Even the no-hitter, we're like, are they for real? Are they going to be buyers or sellers? And then they went on their losing streak. So I don't think it's anything that's a shock to people who actually know baseball. Honestly, you'd have to be a pink hat to not know that this was going on. But I don't like the idea that Wrigleyville is just going to turn into what they think is a tourist attraction, and they're going to make that people are going to come no matter what. And now we're going to have back to the bleacher bums and people going out there just to get drunk and not see good baseball. I'd hate to see that happen.
I agree. I don't want to see it happen either. And I went through a mini rebuild with the Giants for a good couple of years there, 17, 18, 19. But then they got the new GM, and he has the eye for talent. So hopefully, I don't know if it is the ownership end of it. I don't know what the fans can do besides turn their back on ownership. With my NFL team, I've tried doing that, and it obviously doesn't work because I'm obviously only one person. But it just doesn't. It doesn't work. The only thing you guys can do is quit going.
Well, well, Ricketts can't sit there and blame the fact that, hey, we're not making any money because he's bought up all of Wrigleyville and all the buildings around it, and not blame the global pandemic type of thing. Just like, we're not making any money. Well, yeah, you are. I mean, the Marquee Network's making money. You're making money. You just got hit with the global pandemic. I mean, Wimbledon's the only thing that insured for something like this. So you can't take it out on the fans. You can't say, well, we're not making any money. We need to cut things. And then Hoyer's going to have to land on the sword, right?
The Cubs are going to have to figure out something to do because yes, a lot of people could have saw this coming. But if you're the Cubs, why didn't you trade? All right, I would not have traded Rizzo because I think, honestly, Rizzo is to the Cubs of this era, what Ernie Banks was to the Cubs of the last era, Mr. Cup. Now, I mean, Ernie Banks will always be and forever be Mr. Cup. But to fans who maybe are 10, 12, 15, 20 years old, Anthony Rizzo was the Cubs. Sort of like my generation, Ryan Sandberg was the Cubs. When we closed our eyes, we saw Ryan Sandberg. When we thought of the Cubs, we thought of Ryan Sandberg. The kids that are Cub fans or the younger Cub fans who are like in their 20s and that, when they close their eyes and they look at the Cubs, they think of Anthony Rizzo. You can't trade the face of the franchise. Now, Bryant and Baez, you knew they were not going to be re-signing. After the All-Star break, I would have said, all right, we're going to trade you Chris Bryant or Javier Baez, but you do it ahead of the deadline. You might be able to drum up a few, a little bit of a deal, of a better deal, of a sweeter deal. You look at like the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys, they used the Cleveland Browns to make the Minnesota Vikings make a sweetheart deal. The Cubs could have done that. They could have said, hey, San Francisco, if you don't, you want Chris Bryant, well, you're gonna have to give us something more because we got the San Diego Padres or the LA Dodgers that have told us they're gonna give us this guy. There's nothing wrong with lying about what teams might or might not offer you.
Sure.
To drive up the market.
They tried that.
Hey, Mets, you want Javier Baez?
Yeah. I think Arias is right. I think they did try that. That's why they waited till the last minute.
But you can't wait till the last minute. You're not going to get that deal.
Yeah.
They should have traded. They should have been working on a Bryant or Baez deal right as soon as the All-Star game ended.
They told the Giants they want Joey Bart.
Hold on. You go on, Arias. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
They told the Giants, we want Joey Bart. And the Giants said, no, we're good. Nah, you keep him. You can have Bryant. And then, because what the Cubs got from the Giants, a guy who was in single A or double A, who was on the 40-man, who they had to trade, or else they were going to release, and then another prospect. But they asked for Joey Bart, who is a catcher we took number 2 overall in 18 or 19, 18 or 17, whatever. But the Giants know that the universal DH is coming. They're about to do what the Cubs should have done, which I was going to echo with Stocking, was you take those World Series heroes and you make them your guys forever, which Rizzo should have been. And the Giants are going to do that with Buster Posey. They're going to sign him to another, 3 or 4 more years to get him as a career Giant, and they're going to move him to the DH, and Joey Bart's going to come up and be the catcher, and he's going to get to learn from probably the best catcher in baseball of the last decade, hitting and fielding wise.
It's a lot easier to do that when Buster Posey's still hitting 300.
Well, I understand that, but like Rizzo is fine. I mean,
240,
good enough.
Bryant 268, Baez 225.
Well, Baez is never going to hit for a good average.
I'm just saying it's a lot easier to pull that off when you're still Buster Posey hitting 300.
Yeah. Last year, Brandon Crawford was hitting 200, and now he just signed a 2-year, $16 million a year deal last week. This year, he's hitting over 300.
Yeah, you look look at Posey last year. Posey sat out with COVID, and then the year before that, he was struggling. He was scuffling. Now this year, he's having a great year. I mean, your superstars will usually rebound.
It's been 5 years now for the Cubs superstars. We need a rebound. We haven't had one. None of them are rebounding. Underperforming all over the place.
Didn't the Cubs just keep making the playoffs?
They made it last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they made it.
Exactly. There's got to be. I understand what you're saying, Adrian. I don't disagree with whatever plan the Cubs have. Which the hard part is the GM is really put in a corner here. He had no choice.
Mm-hmm.
It was, you're trading these guys.
Yeah.
And sometimes you got to do what you're told, and that's fine. And I agree. You're not going to trade. I agree with you guys what you said. You're not trading Bryant for Kevin Kiermaier, because you're just going to trade Kevin Kiermaier when his time comes up, and then you're only delaying the rebuild 3-4 years more down the road. You're just kicking the can down the road. Where what the Cubs are looking at is the guaranteed money in 2022 and 2023 until that Hayward contract goes away. And then, hey, now we have no money really invested in anybody, and now we can go out and basically try to do what the Padres are doing, build the farm, and then bring in the guys to add to the pieces to finish it off.
Yeah, and June 8th, the front office did not expect the Cubs to be in first place on June 8th, and they're going to start making them fly in weird planes and broken down buses like Major League. They're going to do it, and they don't have Lou Brown running them, and they don't even have a stand-up cutout to take pieces of articles of clothing out. This isn't a movie. They were just like June 8th. They're like, what? We got to figure something out here. So let's. It's kind of like also give a movie reference instead of a rain out. I can get us a losing streak. So and they went out and did it. But Easer Age, we got to take a break before the hour.
Okay, one last point.
Sure.
How's Joe Mann doing in Anaheim? I don't like Joe Mann at all. Cubs fans are like, oh, Ross is a puppet. Joe Mann sucks in Anaheim. He has the best player since Babe Ruth on his team, and they can't do crap.
I don't like Joe Mann.
Yeah, Joe Maddon's.
I think he's more saying that everybody's being hard on Ross. Joe Madden wasn't doing much either.
Joe Madden was the luckiest manager in baseball.
Yeah, Joe Mann's not doing nothing with the best player in baseball. He's ruining the best season that we've seen since 1919, maybe, or 1918, when Babe Ruth was still pitcher.
They're fourth in the American League West, and they're dead in the water.
All right, buddy. Thanks for the phone call. I appreciate it.
Yep.
All right. Before we go to break, I'm going to give you the trivia question because the college football AP ratings came out yesterday. So we're going to make it a college question. Notre Dame is one of 3 schools that rank in the top 20 all-time in wins for Division I football and men's basketball. Who are the other 2? Notre Dame is one of 3 schools that rank in the top 20 all-time in wins for Division I football and men's basketball. Who are the other 2? We'll be right back. Don't Hassle for Local here on ESPN 1170 AM.
like that? You like that?
We're going streaking through the quad and into the gymnasium. Come on, everybody!
Give me a hell yeah! I said give me a hell yeah!
Hey, this is Goose, PA announcer for the Quad City Storm, and you're listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local.
AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? So you've got an oil change coming up? We'll help you find everything you need to do the job right. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Pennzoil high-mileage motor oil and an STP oil filter for just $28.99. And you can get it all fast, your way. Just order online with our free same-day store pickup or next-day delivery. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Start your job today at AutoZone.com. Restrictions apply.
You and your phone have been through a lot this past year. It's been your lifeline to the world. And now some big wireless company is telling you gotta buy a new phone from them and sign their contract? They don't control you. With TracFone Wireless, you can keep the phone, number, and network you already have. Already got a 5G phone? Keep that too. Because TracFone runs on America's best networks now with 5G nationwide. Plus, we've got unlimited talk and text smartphone plans starting at just $20. TracFone Wireless. Now you're in control. 5G nationwide access requires a 5G capable device. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
Janae and Golick Jr.
There are not a lot of places that actually get to claim a cartoon leprechaun. I am one of those places here. And so if anyone should understand what the Boston Celtics faithful, because I saw Big Baby Davis, I think Kevin Garnett, both spoke out defending Lucky after Kyrie Irving just went too far and stomped on him at half court of TD Garden. I think it's pretty fair to say I love Notre Dame more than most people love anything. Like, it's a weird obsession. Notre Dame's kind of like weird like that in general. And even I don't know if I missed the day they were handing out this lifelong competitive juice. I could not find it in me to get upset if another team decided to do that to the Irish. It's like I'd be more worried about the fact that we just got blowed the hell out. You can do whatever you want. Throw 40-yard touchdowns at the end of the game. If we're losing by 40, I'm sitting over there wondering why were we so bad that we lost by 40.
Janae and Golick Jr. 3 to 6 on the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170.
With the help of Cheerios Oat Crunch Almond, I get everyone's morning started with a smile. It has a delicious and hearty combination of the Cheerios you love, whole grain oats, and sliced almonds for an extra crunchy crunch. That's how I set the rhythm for a great day. Look for Cheerios Oat Crunch Almond in your local grocery store.
It's time to rise and grind. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin.
Julio Jones does move on. He will be with the Tennessee Titans. And Key, you were shooting it down, saying it's not a good fit.
You're looking at him and you're saying production is going to come because they're going to throw the ball. They're not going to change their style. They've gone to the AFC Championship game, a couple playoff appearances on the backs of that running back in Derrick Henry. You think about the philosophy and style that Vrabel wants to play. They want to be big up front. They want to run the football. So you trade for Julio Jones, when many people think Julio Jones is on the way backside of his career based on injuries. But I don't necessarily like it for Julio, and I don't know what to make of it for the Titans because of the style of play. They're not going to be the Seattle Seahawks, the New England Patriots, the Kansas City Chiefs. They're not going to do that.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin. Mornings on the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170.
Are we ready for the 5:30 pickup?
Cam's Courier Service's newest hire delivered his resignation.
Hey, Ray, who's handling
She now needs next-day shipping on a new driver.
all these boxes here? Are they ingoing or are they outgoing?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. With Indeed Instant Match, we immediately show you quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed meet your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, Sarah, how's business?
It's going well. Our clients love our work. I just wish that we could figure out how to grow faster.
I hear you. Is it slow for everyone in your industry right now?
Actually, no. I see competitors all over who seem to be very busy, even though I know my work is better than theirs. I just wish I knew how they were finding new customers. If I could do it too, I know I could beat them.
I had that same challenge until I signed up with Town Square. Now my website is on page 1 of Google, and I'm getting leads every day.
Town Square? Was it expensive?
Not at all. Zero cost to build the site, no nickel and diming, and no contracts. Just a monthly subscription that I can cancel anytime. It's awesome.
Go to mylocalcustomers.com for a free competitive analysis that will show you how the most successful businesses grow and how you can do it too with no risk. Be one of the first to sign up and you'll receive $500 in free advertising on this station. Visit mylocalcustomers.com. That's mylocalcustomers.com.
When you think of football, think of the sports leader, because that's what we're all about. This is the Quad Cities sports leader, ESPN 1170 AM.
Yo, yo, yo. All right, back here in the Hassel Castle, brought to you by the R Bar on Utica. All right, I left you with the question when we were, before we went to break.
Yes.
And the question is, let me pull it up again. Notre Dame is one of 3 schools that rank in the top 20 all-time in wins for Division I football and men's basketball. Who are the other 2?
I'm going to say Michigan and USC.
No.
Neither one?
Neither one.
Then it's got to be Florida. Florida?
No.
Texas.
Yes.
Okay, Texas.
The other one's going to be tough.
Oklahoma?
Mm-mm.
Tennessee.
No, but still in the same conference, though.
Alabama. Georgia.
No.
Can't be Kentucky.
It's not Kentucky.
LSU.
No, it's West Virginia.
West Virginia's not in that conference.
They're SEC?
West Virginia's in the Big 12.
Oh, Big 12. Well, sorry. Yeah, I apologize. Sorry. That was a bad hint on my part. Yeah. Sorry. Anyway, West Virginia. So
West Virginia? Really?
Yeah, top
Wow.
20 all-time in basketball wins in college football. So before we go into our power rankings, the AP college football poll came out this week, today.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen ESPN.com's, we've seen CBSSports.com, we've seen the coaches poll. All of them consistently are Alabama at number 1. All of them consistently Iowa at 18. We've seen Iowa State as high as number 6. We've seen them as low as number 8. They came into the AP poll at number 7. This is the 100th week that Alabama has been ranked number 1 in the AP poll under Nick Saban. That's roughly at 44% of all polls in that span since 2007. In second place at 24 weeks is LSU. He's got 100 weeks there. The SEC, Big Ten, and Pac-12 lead the way with 5 teams each, followed by the ACC with 3, the Big 12 with 3, Sun Belt with 2, and the American Conference 1. Notre Dame is the lone independent in there. The number 8 Cincinnati Bearcats is the first non-Power 5 team ranked in the preseason top 10 since 2012. Louisville was in the American back then. Michigan is not in the top 25. From 1970 to 2007, the Wolverines were ranked in all but one preseason poll. In the 14 seasons since then, they've missed as many as they've made. Preseason top 25 has never before featured a single team from the Sun Belt. Now there are 2, number 22 Coastal Carolina, number 23 Louisiana. And here you go, Stocking. Prior to 2019, the number 7 Iowa State Cyclones made the preseason poll just once, and that was in 1978. Now the Cyclones have made it 3 years in a row. And CBSSports.com has labeled them as overrated when doing this type of poll. What do you have to say about that?
They could very well be right.
Okay.
I mean, you look at Iowa State, they've got Purdy, they've got Hall, they've got Rose, they've got Kohler. But I don't see I do not have them going to a New Year's Six bowl. I have them going to, I believe, the Alamo Bowl. I'd have to check that. But I don't. Here's the problem. Iowa State under Campbell, the one thing that they've always struggled. There's 2 things they've struggled with. They have slow starts to seasons.
Yep. And
they have slow starts in individual games.
Raging Cajun, baby.
Huh?
The Raging Cajuns,
well,
baby.
Last year it was Louisiana.
That's why I put up a flag, and Raging Cajun flag, and Frick Stapp.
There were 5. They've lost 5 years in a row to Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some of them in absolutely embarrassing ways, like the game day loss in 2019. You know, I saw some Iowa State fans are aghast.
It was a good game. It was fun.
That was not fun. ESPN, I know some fans are aghast that College Game Day is going to Air Force Navy instead of coming to Ames for another Iowa State game. I could see I know why they're going. It's the 20th anniversary of 9/11. You go to either Navy or Army that weekend. I mean, and when it's Air Force Navy, that's 2 of your 3 branches. That's the game they're going to go to. I mean, that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. But I think Iowa State's could struggle this year. If they lose Purdy, they have no true backup. They lose Rose, that's the heart of their defense. They lose Hall. Can Jarrell Brock from Quincy be Breece Hall? Those are questions that no one can answer. And I don't know if Iowa State can stay healthy. Last year, they avoided the COVID bug. The last couple of years, they've stayed pretty healthy through the season. I don't know if they can do it again. And if one or more of their stars gets hurt, they could be in serious. They could have serious qualms. Now I fear they're going to lose to Iowa. If you put a gun to my, now I'm obviously going to pick them to beat Iowa.
Sure.
I'm going to Jack Trice September 11th. I'm going to be wearing my Cardinal and gold. I'm going to be cheering. Mother Stockpil's going to be with me. She's going to be wearing her Cardinal and gold. We'll both be cheering. And in the game, we'll probably, we'll watch the game. And then after the game go, was this a great game or was this just another horrible game? But if you put a gun to my mom's head and said, is Iowa State going to beat Iowa? I would probably say, no, I don't think they will. I think they're going to lose at Baylor. They've had issues at Baylor before.
So 1-2 right away, huh?
No, 2-2.
2-2.
I think they're going to lose at K-State, and I think they're going to lose at West Virginia. Now, when they get to November, they're going to beat Sark and Texas. They're going to destroy them.
Okay.
I don't think Sark's that good of a coach. I think by then he might be back on the sauce. I mean,
oh wow,
he's not a very good coach.
Emily would have just been dying right there. You said that.
He was a terrible coach at USC. I mean, come on.
I know.
Just because you've gone to the Nick Saban rehabilitation program doesn't mean that you're the greatest thing since sliced bread.
I'm with you.
They're going to beat Texas Tech. They're going to end the season beating TCU. The week before they play TCU, they're going to beat Oklahoma. They're going to beat Oklahoma in Norman. Lincoln Riley has a problem beating Iowa State. They barely beat them last year in the Big 12 championship game.
I didn't know you had jokes, bud.
Lincoln Riley is not that great of a coach. I'm glad he did not go to my
the
dad's
talent's
Cowboys.
there. You don't need to be that great of a coach when the talent's there.
Number 2 team in the country, though.
I am not sold on
Number 2.
Oklahoma. My top 4 teams that are going to go to the college football playoff are Clemson.
Yep.
I think Clemson will win it all. Bama.
Okay.
And then the other 2 teams, Indiana and Arizona State. I think Indiana is maybe one of the best. It's the best team in the Big Ten. They will win the Big Ten Conference.
You're going to find out the first week of the college football season that they're not the best team in the Big Ten.
They will beat Iowa at Kinnick. That is going to happen.
I'm not going to agree with. I'm not going to agree with you right there.
They're going to go into Kinnick week 1 and beat Iowa, just like Lee Corso did on Hayden
You're
Fry
living in the past, bud.
back in 1979.
We don't lose to Indiana.
And Arizona State is going to win the Pac-12.
Arizona State, number
State's
25
got Herm
ranked
Edwards.
Arizona State.
I believe in Herm Edwards, and I believe in Indiana. Indiana's got their
Maybe you need to get off the sauce.
Huh?
Indiana is in the top 20. Indiana is in the top 25 for the first time since 1968.
Yes.
Preseason.
Ranked 17.
They got Penix, that quarterback's back.
Yep.
I like Indiana. I think they are a very good team. And there are
you can like Indiana all you want.
Last year who said Indiana should have gone to the Fiesta Bowl over Iowa State.
Now, the Indiana thing, there's only one small problem here, and I think it's psychological, all right? I think Ferentz isn't going to lose a home opener. I'm sorry. I just don't think he will. And I think it's also a little bit incentive.
He did last year.
I just think that's a different year. Now, the other thing is that I just in the Big Ten, this is the first time in a long time they've opened the season with the Big Ten opponent. Indiana's got the coach, and I forget his name.
Allen, I think. Tom
Thank you.
Allen.
He has said, we want to build a program like Iowa. So he's got that mentality of this is the team that we want to be like instead of like this is the team we want to beat. I'm sorry, that's the way. That's psychological. That's the way I'm thinking. And that being said, Ferentz has to understand that this guy might be a little bit motivated to beat the Iowa team to be like, yes, we've gotten to where we want to be right away. So I think it's more of a coaching psychological thing than anything else.
I think Indiana's a 5-loss team right here. I'm looking at the schedule, and I just don't see them getting past Cincinnati, Penn State.
They're going to beat
Michigan
Ohio State.
Ohio
the game's
State,
in Bloomington. They'll beat them this year.
Michigan, Penn State.
Indiana. All right, you do that. I'm going to look at Arizona State.
I don't like their chances of going.
I like them in the
college football playoff.
I'm
is what you're
not
telling
sold
me.
on Caden Slovis.
Arizona State was 5-5 last year. They're coming at 25 in the preseason. The Herm Edwards project seems like it's not working out.
They've got their quarterback back. They've got a lot coming back this year. Arizona State's going to be is my sleeper pick.
There's not a lot of sleepers in the college football playoff, man. There's just
There's 4 other teams in the conference.
There's not a lot of sleepers. There's not a lot of sleepers.
They're Power 5,
Yeah.
so that
sleepers don't exist here. Sleepers.
You still got in their conference. Well, who else that's ahead of them?
USC's got Caden Slovis. He's
Utah,
Washington. Washington was terrible last year, and Oregon got Oregon. The only reason they were in the Oregon was in the New Year's Six was because I think USC opted out of the New Year's Six.
Yeah, are you just trying to get followers for social media saying this stuff?
From Arizona State. He's got something outlandish. I love it though.
Arizona State and Indiana in your college football playoff.
Hey.
Yes. Oklahoma's not going to get there because Oklahoma's not that good.
And their conference isn't that good either.
And Lincoln Riley is not Lincoln Riley isn't that great of a coach. Georgia's handicapped by Kirby Smart, who can't figure out how to beat Florida. I don't think Florida is going to get in after they get beat by Alabama twice next year because they're going to lose in the opener. Alabama's going to lose one game, and it's going to be to Mississippi State in Stark Vegas.
You said Alabama's going to lose?
To Mississippi State.
Now we're just talking nonsense.
No, the
Alabama doesn't lose.
Leach is going to upset them.
No, they're undefeated.
The team that gives Alabama fits historically is Mississippi State. In 1980, they ended a long run along Wayne Street by Bama when no one thought they would. They're going to do it again this year, and it's in Stark Vegas, as they call it. And Florida's going to lose twice to Bama. They're going to lose to them in September 17th, and they're going to lose to them in the SEC championship game.
So
Florida's going to go 0-2 against Alabama, both on CBS.
All right, I'm looking at this here.
Yeah, because Alabama's going undefeated.
No, Alabama's going. I told you Alabama's going to lose twice.
You're wrong.
Wait. Where's the Mississippi State that you're talking about?
Huh?
Where's the Mississippi State game? Oh, there it is. Okay, that's October 16th. Okay.
Yep.
And they're going to lose. It's coming out of a big game against A&M, so there you have a possible hangover there. All right, I'm just trying to do some rational thinking with you, but it's not a trap game because they have Tennessee the next week. All right, it would be different if they were sandwiched between LSU, which they have on November 6th.
2 weeks away.
But yeah, so it's not a trap game, but there could be a hangover game. Possibly A&M could creep up into the top 4 by then. Maybe not. Who knows? But or they could tumble down as well. They do open up with Miami on the first week.
Miami.
Yep, and then Florida week 3, and that's at Florida. And then they don't have much before A&M. I'm trying to just go with your thinking here because they don't really have much. They do have the last game of the year against Auburn. Doesn't matter if Auburn's in the top 25 or not right now. Arkansas will be terrible. New Mexico State will be terrible. I love it when they do that in the end of the year, too. They put those games in there just to come off of the LSU. Yeah, the scheduling is not too bad for them. So we're looking at 4 teams in the top 25 preseason for Alabama. Your 2 losses, I don't see where you're having that at. Mississippi State is one that you've already gone on record.
Clemson in the
national
championship.
In the national championship. Clemson winning it. Okay.
Yes.
All right, well, okay.
A couple of years ago, I said that Purdue would get Ohio State in West Lafayette.
You did.
And
there's not a lot. That's not. Yep, you did. Yep. Oh, user agent threw that Arizona State over-unders, 9 wins. Hammer the over, huh?
Under.
Under. Yeah. Yeah, so
0% chance Indiana or Arizona State makes the college football playoff.
I still think it's going to happen.
0. And they better expand it to 30 teams.
No. They're going to I'm going to tell you this though, with all the expansion with the realignment stuff, the going to 12 teams is probably a dead letter right now.
No.
Because with the realignment, there's too many unknowns. I think the 12-team playoff thing is a dead letter. They're more worried about trying to figure out what's going to go on with this.
Stocking, this thing isn't going to take over till 2025, and the college football playoffs thing, I think, ends in 2022, so they have 2 years, or 2023. They have 2 years.
They said that would be 2022, 2023.
Yeah, so they have a 2-year probationary period to be like, well, we're just going to try it out for 2 years and see what happens. I think 12 is going to happen.
I don't, with all the stuff, with all the things that are going on right now and all the talk, I don't think that the 12-team thing is even being looked at. So I don't think it's going to be vetted, and I think they're going to say we can't do it at this point.
So the other option would be that they expand it even more.
They just stay at 4.
And why not expand it even more and be like, it's time to anticipate the problem and say, here's where we think this whole thing is going, these super conferences type of thing, or maybe just regions, and expand it. And that way you don't have to adjust to progression. You've already done it ahead of time. You've anticipated the problem. I mean, Stocking, you're a teacher. That's your job.
Right.
Your job is to anticipate the problem. Like, so that's how you create a lesson plan. Well, where's the problem? You don't just say we're gonna stay here and then we're gonna react. They need to go ahead and say we see it going this way.
You think the college athletic departments are that progressive? I don't think they. I think they're really reactive because. I just think with all the stuff that's going on, because when you go to this 12 team, they're going to have to get everyone in. You think Bob Bowlesby is going to be able to break bread with the American Conference after pretty much accusing them of being in bed with ESPN to poach teams from his conference?
It was SEC.
Well, but he said the American Conference. Well. And now you think, but you also think
the conferencing is going to the wayside. The college football playoff isn't the NCAA. It's completely two different things. Also,
you think that Bob Bowlesby's also going to sit down with the SEC commissioner after they just took 2 teams? We're already hearing the ACC, which I don't buy because ACC's got a lot of ESPN money, so they're not going to go against the SEC and ESPN. But we've got reports the ACC, Big Ten, and Pac-12 commissioners are talking, and they're going to provide a solid front against the SEC. I can't see how people who have guns pointed at each other are going to drop guns and shake hands on a 12-team playoff.
It's like that Spider-Man meme where they're all ready to shoot each other out there. Just ready to go. I just think, don't you think this whole thing is inevitable that they're going to just create? And I've been saying this for years, though. There'll be a north, a south, an east, and a west.
It's going to have to come after the realignment gets done.
They might expand it to 12 teams, and Arizona State and Indiana still won't make the playoffs.
I would say, I've been saying for years they should expand to 26. Use the bowls.
Then yes, we can all get behind Arizona State and Indiana making the playoffs.
Because here's the thing. What I'm saying is, use the bowls, like your Sun Bowl, your Gator Bowl, your Holiday Bowl, as the first round. Have it right before Christmas.
I need a bowl.
And then you have those 10 teams win. They play your 5 power conferences and an automatic and the best team from, say, the American or an independent like Notre Dame or the American or Mountain West. And then you have 16 teams. They play the traditional New Year's Day bowl games, have 4 on New Year's Eve, 4 on New Year's Day, and then you've got 8 teams to go to the NCAA quarterfinals, and then you play it off to a championship game like the week after Dr. King's birthday.
I've broken this down before, and I think if you've got to take away 2 teams or more, it doesn't matter. We can talk this through. take away 2 teams from Division 1 right now in football and make it down to 128. And then you can make 4 different divisions. You have your north, south, east, west, whatever. Don't even get me started at what they're going to be legends and leaders divisions or whatever else. And then so now you have 32 to each one. But now you have basically, then you go divisions for each one of those regions, right? So you have 16 in each one. And then from there you try, or you can break it down even more and have 4 different divisions in there. But that's how your playoffs work. From winning your division and winning your conference, your area, and then slowly work it down.
You're going to have to add another one because North Dakota State's talking about going into 1A.
Great.
In fact, from what they're saying, North Dakota State's thinking Mountain West.
Okay. Well, maybe we should. I don't know how you're going to create this whole thing, the super thing. Now, before we get going, because I like this talk, and hear me out, and Adrian, I think we may have talked about it, if not. What do you think about this thing that Dan Patrick has brought up? Make it more like the European soccer, where there's only 40 that go.
Get rid of this European soccer love that we get
just
rid
let me
of
talk.
teams
Let
and
me talk
relegation.
let me
hate
talk
that.
because the listener out there. Right. So basically, what it is there's a top 40, and the list is made before in the spring, saying like only these 40 are going to be possibly make it to the playoffs for the college football national championship, and so some may drop off, some may drop in.
No.
And then hear me out though, why he's saying it. And then each year, and then you make money out of it because there's just 40 teams, and there is no conference or anything. And they say then at the end of the year in the spring, college football can have a release show, which is going to be sponsored by T-Mobile. And then you come back and in the fall, early fall, late summer, and then you have a schedule release where all of a sudden now Ohio State's playing USC, and there's all these big matchups, and no one's ducking anyone. And you don't have Alabama playing New Mexico State in week 12 of the college football season, or week 10 of the college football season. And again, then you have that, and each week you have like a power ranking, and it's a money-making thing, and that's all this really is right now. And I don't think he's too far off.
You will never see that happen.
Okay.
Namely because if I'm Auburn, every year we play Alabama. Every year that is nationally televised. Every year Tennessee plays Alabama, usually on the 3rd Saturday in October. If not, like this year, it's the 4th Saturday. Those are traditional rivalries. They're never going to go away. Ohio State and Michigan always will play. USC, UCLA. And here's the thing. You have this relegation or whatever garbage they want to call it, or release show or top 40.
Sure.
You're going to sentence teams like Iowa and Iowa State to never smelling it because
they're
you're
in
not
the top 40. Iowa's in the top 40
right
almost
now,
every year. Yeah.
Right now, but remember back in 1979, Iowa had 20 losing seasons in a row. They were considered a dead program, and Hayden Fry came up and revitalized them.
Yeah.
He does that does not happen in this top 40 fantasy land or relegation. Matt Campbell and Iowa State aren't here at this point where Iowa State's legitimately thinking we could be in the college football playoff.
Isn't that a boost in the arm of your fans
40.
when you make the top 40 as an Iowa State? Isn't that a boost in every?
That's never gonna. They're not gonna. Iowa State's. You're not gonna get recruits or sell kids. Hey, we might get
You
out
weren't
of
getting
the,
recruits
we might get in the
before,
top
and look
40.
what Campbell did. Like, you weren't getting recruits before. Yes, and the possibility is that if you are flirting with you brought a team from that was not making it year after year, then people will leave, but Campbell will stay or whatever else. But it's just one of those things that like it's a boost in your fans, and they weren't getting those top recruits.
Or it's going to
like
be detrimental because who's going to go out? Who's going to go to? All right, Iowa and Illinois. Illinois' biggest rivals are who? Northwestern and maybe Iowa.
Talking about who?
For Illinois.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Iowa, Illinois always is a game in this area that's very big.
Bielema will piss somebody off.
But what I'm saying though is
that's what he does.
Is if you had this top 40 fantasy land, whatever, Illinois is not going to be in that top 40. So if I'm an Illinois fan, why do I want to give my money, or why do I want to go to games where it's actually meaningless?
Yeah, okay, that's a fair point too. I'm just saying that you have to understand that what that excitement would bring to see who's in the top 40.
It would not bring excitement. It would actually help kill the sport quicker, because your traditional rivalries that have been going on forever will go by the wayside. Your traditional programs that are maybe in a downturn will never get out of that downturn. Teams that are mired in that downturn we'll never get to see a
I
major
don't know.
bowl.
Listen, I agree with you that we'll never see it, but the idea of your traditional whatever else, that's the argument that people are going to make about Texas, Oklahoma, and Texas leaving, right? But guess what they're going to do in the preseason games now that they go into SEC? They'll schedule Texas and Oklahoma.
They'll play each other.
They'll make sure of it.
Yeah, but
and
they're
that's what the
saying-
scheduling will do too.
But no, it won't. If you've got
Wait, listen, Stocking. Before we get a break, they'll figure out a way to do it. Maybe they'll do a tier system like the Iowa high school football system, and they'll be like, okay, well, you only play this many out of yours, and you can only play down this far. I know it sounds confusing, but there's got to be some way because. Listen, the NCAA does not have control over this whatsoever.
The
And
NCAA
college
has no
football
control
playoffs
over
is
anything.
expanding. In the history of the NCAA, any type of tournaments, any type of postseason tournament have never stayed with the original number.
Right.
So the college football playoff has been stuck at 4. It's not going to stay there. I'm telling you, and I don't even think it will be there as just 2 more extra years to see what happens. They're going to expand anyway because of money. It's just not going. I mean, in the history, it's never stayed the same. It just won't. It's always going to expand, and they're all trying to find a way to money. And right now, they're all recouping money because of what happened last year. And I mean, they're going to find a way to keep those traditional things going on. Though, if they do these things, they'll be like, well, as long as they're in the top 40. I'm not saying it'll happen, but I'm saying it's a lot easier than me doing the math and being like, okay, now I'm going to put these in this area and this in this area, and each one's going to play here. And all right, and then like you said, well, the Sun Bowl is the quarterfinals of this conference, and you know. It's crazy. But the change is happening. I'm not saying I have the answers. I'm just saying it's going to happen. I just don't know what it's going to look like. And I do think that we don't need North Dakota State to come up to Division One. I don't think we need some other ones that petitioned that got up there even higher. I mean, if I don't want to see Mount Union in Division One.
You won't see Mount Union in Division One.
I'm just saying. But we do have to take a break here. ESPN 1170 AM. Let's do the power rankings. Adrian, you got yours?
Yep.
All right. Stocking, did you do a power ranking?
I could
You
come
can
up
do
with
one.
something.
All right, we'll do that. Major League Baseball when we come back. ESPN 1170 AM.
We also have to talk about this.
Through the quad and into the gymnasium. Come on, everybody! You like that? You like that?
Give me a hell yeah! I said give me a hell yeah!
This is Josh Sides, head coach, St. Ambrose University Esports. You're listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're
Ace
Local.
Muffler Clinic has been serving the Quad Cities area for over 60 years. There's a reason why our customers continue to trust us with their vehicles. We can fix almost anything. We can fix your muffler, tune your brakes, change your oil, change your tires, replace your battery, customize your exhaust, tune your engine, repair your suspension, replace your radiator and your water pump. Align your automobile, refill your transmission fluid, and change your filters. And we believe in doing all those things right the first time. For fast-friendly service, visit Ace Muffler Clinic at 4th Ave and 15th Street in Rock Island.
Hey Quad Cities, this is Kim from Berry Global, a Fortune 400 packaging company. I have some exciting news. We are hiring technical and entry-level employees at our injection molding facility right here in Bettendorf. Berry offers an impressive benefits package which includes medical, dental, vision, 401k match, company-paid life and disability insurances, along with competitive wages and profit-sharing bonus. If being a part of an awesome team interests you, visit berryglobal.com to apply. That is BERRY global.com. Still looking for more information about Berry? Just say, Alexa, tell me about Berry Global.
5G is here, but the big carriers want you to sign a pricey long-term contract to get access. Well, not anymore, because Straight Talk Wireless has rolled out 5G coverage nationwide, with plans starting at just $35 a month and no contract. Plus, get a Samsung Galaxy A32 5G for $299, all on America's best networks. 5G coverage, 5G phones, less money. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
The moment you fire up a Gator UTV, the engine has your full attention. The completed job is on the horizon, and the trail meets its match. Just like that, you made short work of a long to-do list. Run with us on a John Deere Gator UTV. With effortless four-wheel drive at the flip of a switch and our smoothest shifting transmission yet. Nothing runs like a Deere. Search John Deere Gator for more.
I'm Taylor Bisciotti with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. Dak is back. Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott returned to practice Monday after missing the last few weeks of camp with a sore right shoulder. Dallas head coach Mike McCarthy says he's feeling, quote, no urgency to play his starting quarterback this preseason. Either way, Prescott says he'll be ready to play week 1. So who will the Patriots starting quarterback be week 1? Even Cam Newton doesn't know. The Patriots' current quarterback said Monday he is yet to be told if it will be him or rookie first-round pick Mac Jones under center in New England's opener. The Niners expect Pro Bowl defensive end Nick Bosa to be able to practice in full next week. The 2019 Defensive Rookie of the Year has been out since suffering a season-ending knee injury last September. Eagles first-round pick Devontae Smith returned to practice Monday. He's been out the past 2 weeks with a knee sprain. No word yet on when he'll make his preseason debut. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Napa know-how.
At Napa, get a $10 gift card when you buy a 5-quart jug of Mobil 1 motor oil for $27.99. A deal so rich, they'll call you an oil tycoon. Yep, with great oil for $27.99 and $10 back. All you'll need is a monocle. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating locations, does not include state local taxes or recycling fees. Advertised sales price may not be available in some states. Rebate restrictions apply. Offer ends 8/31/21.
The real estate market is always tough. But this market, it's unlike anything we've ever seen. When the average home stays on the market just 24 days and houses routinely go for more than the listing price, who you work with matters. Realtors have the expertise, local knowledge, and personal touch to give you a competitive advantage throughout the entire home buying process. And that's something an ordinary agent could never do. So make sure your agent is a Realtor. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
Hey, Sarah, how's business?
It's going well. Our clients love our work. I just wish that we could figure out how to grow faster.
I hear you. Is it slow for everyone in your industry right now?
Actually, no. I see competitors all over who seem to be very busy, even though I know my work is better than theirs. I just wish I knew how they were finding new customers. If I could do it too, I know I could beat them.
Growing a business in the Quad Cities is challenging, and figuring out where to start is the hardest part. If your business does great work but just needs help finding more customers, then Town Square can help. Go to mylocalcustomers.com for a free competitive analysis that'll show you how the most successful businesses in the Quad Cities grow and how you can do it too. These strategies are simple, and we can show you how to apply them to your business. Be one of the first businesses to sign up, and you'll receive $500 in free advertising on this radio station. Visit mylocalcustomers.com. That's mylocalcustomers.com.
From the Vegas Gaming Cafe, this is the Quad Cities sports leader, ESPN 1170 AM, KBLB Davenport, a Town Square media station.
ESPN 1170 AM, don't hassle us, we're local. It is 1:31 past the second hour. We're in the second half of our show. Stocking's in with me. Adrian's in with me. We're going to take a look at our Major League Baseball power rankings. But sure, since you bring it up, Stocking, before we talk about it, you said that it's reported that the Cubs are going to have a betting, a sports book in Wrigley at some point
soon. Yes, a betting
soon.
salon, yes.
Why did you call it a betting salon?
Well,
it's a sports book.
Well, I don't think they should do it.
Okay.
I think that if you've got Major League Baseball, who for years there's a sign in every Major League clubhouse, and I think it's even in the minor leagues, that if you gamble on the game of baseball, you will be suspended for life.
Mm-hmm.
Now you've got one of your flagship franchises, a franchise that has been in Major League Baseball since 1876, the first year of the National League, the Chicago Cubs. Them and the Braves are the only two survivors from 1876. You've got them, the Chicago Cubs, a flagship franchise, now climbing in one of the more iconic places in all of baseball, Wrigley Field, allowing betting into their house.
Yeah.
Essentially, they're climbing into bed with them.
Yeah.
If you are Major League Baseball and you allow the Cubs to do this, I don't think Major League Baseball can stay to it with a straight face to Pete Rose, the Black Sox, and all the other players that have been suspended from baseball for gambling. Oh, you're still out. Meanwhile, bring in the money from the betting people betting. You got people who will be betting, who will be in that salon 5 minutes before the game, laying bets on the Cubs, laying bets on
live in-game betting,
prop bets, and then walking out. I mean, it just is. It's unseemly. It's not right. If you are Major League Baseball and you allow the Cubs to do this, then you better be saying to Pete Rose and the Black Sox and all the other people that have been suspended from the game of baseball for gambling, you are no longer on the suspension list.
Two different points.
Because
right? Two different points. Hold on, just hold on. 2 different points. One, you're saying you can't say no to when the Supreme Court overturned this. All right. And it's not just baseball. It's in football, too. It is like day 1, day 2 stuff. I've talked to Julian Vandervelde. I'm like, did you guys ever talk about gambling? No. Just never talked about it because we were taught better. We were known not to do it. Did you guys ever talk about fantasy football? We knew of it, but we didn't even play that. We hated hearing about fantasy football, even though he wasn't like someone that was drafted. So that's even like a form of gambling. It's just like just not done. They're taught better. Like, don't be dumb. Don't gamble on this. They may know of it or whatever else. 2, you're saying Major League Baseball is getting in bed with it. They are. Because your regional sports networks are Bally's right now. What is Bally's? It's a casino. Do you think the casino's going to go, yeah, we got the TV rights, but we don't want to have a sports book right next to either in or right next to your stadium, your arena, whatever. And it's happening all over. I mean, Arizona Cardinals are going to have a sports book in there starting in 2022. And baseball is tailor-made for in-game live betting. And not only will they have a sports book stocking, they probably will have a tablet in front of you on a chair in front of you that you can actually do it right there. And I'm telling you, that's what's going to happen. Now, as far as the Pete Rose thing goes, that argument has been going on forever. There are people that are like, no way, and there are people that said absolutely, and they're just not going to mix. That's the way it is. Adrian, what do you say?
I like the idea of bringing the sports books in there just because, I mean, I really like gambling. I don't think this changes anything with the Black Sox and the Pete Rose. I'm not even Easer A says the Black Sox aren't suspended anymore, but I don't think you got to change the past. You don't have to change the past in order to change the future. I don't think, it was stricter back then. Things change over time. This is how things are going to be going forward. It's going to be everywhere. It's going to be. Hang on, I see you want to talk there, Stocking. I see you opening it. You're trying. I see you trying. It's going to be in NFL stadiums. It's going to be in baseball stadiums. We're just the first. It's going to be in more stadiums in a couple of years. And I think everybody's on board with it. I don't see why anybody wouldn't be.
The surest way for a sport to lose its popularity.
Well, what's the difference if they're going to be in the stands doing it on their phone?
The surest way for a sport to lose its popularity is if the public isn't positive that those games and everything is on the level. And you have a gambling scandal break out, you could have a gambling scandal break out, and it would just destroy that.
What are you saying? The players are going to walk up to the sporting bet book and bet? They can do it from their phones. What's the difference?
A gambling scandal would destroy the sport. And I think having it that close, it's just too much of a temptation.
It's already in the stadium. It's on their phone.
There. It's already there.
It's everywhere.
And no matter what's going to happen, even if you don't have it there, as it grows, as it's going from state to state and sports books are opening up, you're going to find people who don't have time much on other things to do, but on social media, much like the guys who look at the way they're digging into their glove. You don't see those TikToks anymore or anything else. You're going to find guys be like, look at this. He catches this ball in this route 89% of the time. But in this game, he dropped it 4 times. I'm talking NFL. Or he cleanly catches this ball in this way. And his WAR all these other times was this. And now it has gone down ever since they opened. They're going to find something in someone. It doesn't matter. I'm telling you, someone's going to be the contrarian to try to make it a big deal. And it all depends on if the integrity of the game is held up, which I do believe they're going to be. It's going to be just fine, but you cannot stop it. And like Adrian said, he's right. Having a sports book there or having it on your phone is no different whatsoever. None at all.
I say that you're going to have a gambling scandal break out, and it will be to the detriment of that sport. Remember, 1951 college basketball had a huge gambling scandal.
That's 1951
in New York City. New York City college basketball has really never recovered.
It is 2021.
Get out of here.
How is it not?
College basketball hasn't. I mean, it's the biggest moneymaker thing that's going on.
In New York City.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You had New York University. You had CCNY. CCNY won the national title in 1950 and the NIT title. They beat Bradley in both of those. Long Island University. Those universities have that sport has in New York City. It has never recovered. And in the early 50s, college basketball took a major hit.
Literally never heard this before. I've not done my homework on
college
basketball.
In the 50s. It's 2021. It doesn't matter what happens in the 50s anymore.
Yeah. Yes, that's exact. I just
in this subject.
I have never thought about that whatsoever. New York City. I mean, the last time I thought about New York City in basketball was like trying to find a weird place for them to have a basketball game, kind of like Field of Dreams. And I was like, and I'm gonna say, is Gus Rucker or Guy Rucker Park? I'm like, that'd be pretty cool, but I don't even know how you do that. That's the last time I thought about New York City and basketball. So I don't think maybe it has in New York, but there's going to be something somewhere. Someone's going to try to find something. And there's always talk of the 86 Rose Bowl and Ronnie Harmon, but there's always something that's going to happen that way. But I just don't think you can stop progress, and I don't think it's a bad thing as long as they can regulate it. And I think the risk management teams are doing a fine enough job. There was worries about this, but you're not going to be able to stop this at all. All right, let's do a power ranking in the NFL. Let's do
NFL
Major League Baseball. Sorry, I was thinking.
I was gonna say I have the wrong list.
Yeah, you would have the wrong list. We're not doing that already. Yeah, we're gonna break it down. All right, I got a power ranking. Stocking, you got one at the top of your head. You got, and Adrian, you got one as well. All right, we'll just do the top 10. All right, I'll go first. Number 1, I got the San Francisco Giants. Stocking,
I got the Giants also.
Adrian,
Dodgers.
Really?
I just think the Dodgers are a better overall team. I think they can score a little bit more than the Giants can. I have been saying all year that I thought they were going to, fall. The San Francisco Giants were going to fall eventually, and it hasn't happened. And it's been a great story. And I do have them at 2. I have the San Francisco Giants at 2.
Dodgers only 4 games back. The Dodgers have a plus 194 run differential. The San Francisco Giants have a plus 146. Both of them are 8-2 in their last 10 games. So, it's going to be a tight one there. So, who do you have at 2, Stocking?
Rays.
I actually have the Rays as well. I think it's it's not so much a shot of like. It's not a nod to the division. I just like the way the Rays play the ball game, and it just seems like they just don't make mistakes out there. And I say that with a very blanket statement because you could sit there and say, who are on the Rays? And it would be the same 2 guys that we mentioned earlier, Tyler Glasnow and Kevin Kiermaier, and then I would be done. Oh, and then Wander Franco, I know him. So that's
Nelson Cruz.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, yeah, former Twin Nelson Cruz. So I should know that too. But, yeah, I have them at 2. Who do you have at 3 then?
Tampa Bay.
Okay. So we're all close there. Who do you have at 3, Stocking?
White Sox.
You have the White Sox higher than I do, and I wanted to put them up there, but I just couldn't get them there. So at 3, I have the Milwaukee Brewers.
I have the Brewers at 4.
Okay. Yeah, the Brewers, and basically all of these except for
you guys
Houston,
are forgetting the Dodgers.
I'm sorry, I have the Dodgers at 4.
Okay.
I have the Dodgers at
Brewers
4.
still at 4.
I have the Brewers at 3. I have the Brewers at 3. I have the Dodgers at 4. They're not leading their division. It was tough for me to do.
Okay, that's fine.
I know you have them at 1, but I get it. But the only one that's not at their division leaders that wasn't 7-3 or better was the Houston Astros. They've been 5-5 in the last 10 games. But leading the division was something that I had to look at more than anything else and lean on. I like where the Dodgers are. So Brewers at 3, Dodgers, and I didn't give them. Obviously, there's other division leaders like the White Sox and Houston that we'll get to, but I couldn't keep penalizing the Dodgers. Is where my head was at. I do think they're legit. Just like you said, hats off to the Giants for doing what they're doing and keep winning. 41-18 at home, 36-24 on the road, and Easer Hayes went down the guys that are on the team, and I mean, I can't believe they gave Brandon Crawford a 2-year deal. They've got leadership out there. Gabe Kapler, I've never really thought much of him as a manager, and he's doing a great job. So, but I waited a while for that. So I have Brewers at 3. Who do you have? And Dodgers at 4. Who do you have at 4, Stock?
I have. I think I just said. I have the Brewers at
4. Okay, so you have the White Sox at 3, Brewers at 4.
Yeah.
And who do you have at 4?
Houston.
Okay. 70-48, leading their division by 2.5 games. Okay, at 5, Adrian.
The White Sox.
Me too.
I have the Yankees.
5.5 out of the Yankees is what you're saying here.
Yeah, the Yankees are on a roll. I have the Dodgers at 6, Adrian. I know you're a Dodgers fan.
I'm not a Dodgers fan. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
7-3 for the Yankees in their last 10 games. They have a plus 20 run differential. 5.5 games out.
I think they took 2 of 3 from the White Sox also.
They did. Yeah, and they go into, and they're just getting Garrett Cole back, right?
Yeah, and he won last night against the Angels.
Yes, and Rizzo's coming back as well. Yeah, they won 2-1 last night against the Angels, and Rizzo's coming back.
Tough
also.
Angels.
So I did not put the Yankees or the Red Sox in my top 10. And I couldn't. All right, so I have the White Sox at 5. Adrian, you have them at 5. You had the Yankees stock?
Yes.
At 6, now I have the Astros.
At 6, I have the Dodgers.
Okay. Who do you have at 6?
Milwaukee.
All right. So where we're off a little bit is the Brewers and me, and you have Houston higher, and now you have Milwaukee down at 6. Is there just because of the division, or they've got a pretty good 1, 2, 3 pitching staff?
Yeah, they got a pretty good staff. I think they're over. Some of the guys are overperforming on their team. The division is become one of the laughing stocks, I feel like. Baseball
my
a
team
little bit.
plays in it. Don't you do that. Don't take that away from my division. Don't you dare do that. Take that away from mine.
But yeah.
I've got to have something. All right. 7. Who do you have, Adrian?
Oakland.
Okay.
I think the moves they made in the trade deadline really solidifies their chances of having a deep run this year.
I have Houston at 7.
Okay. I have Atlanta Braves. Eventually had to throw in a division leader, but that can flip-flop with the Mets or the Phillies whatsoever. And maybe I do have them too high. At 8, then, where's my 8?
I have Cincinnati at 8. The Reds are peaking at just the right time.
Yeah, I actually my 8 was Oakland. I was wrong about Boston. I had Boston at my 9, so that's my 8 and 9. Adrian, what do you have at 8?
Atlanta.
Okay. And then who do you have at your 9, Adrian?
Boston.
I have San Diego at 9.
They are my 10.
They are my 10.
San Diego scuffling. I have Atlanta at 10.
Okay. So we're all pretty similar here.
Because Atlanta has surged as of late.
The only one that doesn't match is Stockings Yankees, where they was at. But yeah, the Padres. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the Padres. They lost to the Rockies last night.
They got no hit, I think, but didn't they get no hit by Arizona? Tyler Gilbert?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then his first start ever. Yeah. So, no clue really what's going on there, and they are falling behind in the wild card race, and Cincinnati is up there. You had Cincinnati stocking too. That's another one that you had up there.
Cincinnati might catch San Diego because right now if the playoffs if the season ended right now, San Diego be at the Dodgers, but Cincinnati is only like a game and a half back. Cincinnati passes them. It could be Cincinnati at the Dodgers.
Yeah, they are right there. Padres have a 67-54 record. Cincinnati is a 65-55 record. So that's going to get close there.
The Yankees wouldn't even be in the playoffs today.
No.
It would be.
And then your
Boston,
5th overall
Oakland,
team
Boston.
in baseball.
I've got them. Yep. They're peaking. I mean, they're 7-3. They're coming.
Peaking.
Sort of like Cincinnati.
Peaking is the word.
They're let's see where they're at. Yeah, they would be. Yeah, they need to catch up. They're 2 back from Boston in the wild card, and 2.5 back from Oakland.
2 of 3 from the White Sox. Probably
and 2.5 back from Oakland.
If they don't have a 9th inning blow up, they would have swept the White Sox, even because they came back and rallied in the Field of Dreams.
Stocking.
Yes.
I don't want it to be a last minute thing. Tell us about the score that's coming up because we're getting close.
The score comes back on August 27th. We come on at 10:35 every Friday night. We'll be with you all through the season, and then we also have basketball. 10:35 for football. And we'll be on all 30 minutes. We're the only half-hour highlight show of high school football in the bi-state area. We'll have Iowa, Illinois scores. We'll have fun. We'll have highlights. We'll have scores. We'll have stats. We'll have all sorts of. We have talkback segments. We are ready to go for a new season on the score. August 27th, Channel 8, WQAD. August 27th, 10:35. Put that on your calendar. We're going to have a lot of fun this season, a lot of great games.
So that's a week from this Friday.
Yes, August 27th.
Is that Iowa kickoff on the 27th as well?
Both states kick off on the 27th.
All right. So Iowa goes back to school on the 23rd. Illinois has already started, right? Or they start tomorrow?
What?
Illinois, some of them come back or they start tomorrow?
You mean schools?
Yeah.
Illinois schools, some of them went back. I think a lot of them went back on Monday.
Oh, I thought some other ones. Yeah. Okay,
then,
Monday.
You
yeah.
know, they're sort of like a, they sort of have a floating start. Like Rocky came back August 2nd.
Yeah.
UT came back August 4th. Some are come back on Monday, August 16th. Some are going, I think, either Wednesday or Thursday. It depends. But Iowa, none of the Iowa schools can go until August 23rd because we got to wait for the Iowa State Fair.
That's right.
You know, which I disagree with as a rule. I think because in the past, when we could start when we wanted to, we'd have first semester that would run from mid-August to Christmas. End of the semester, new semester starts in the new year. Boom, start off January. We got a new semester. Go to May. Now we sort of we do what we did when I was in high school.
Yeah.
Go over,
I guess what I survived.
16,
it was fun.
15, 16 weeks. And then we have 2 weeks after Christmas where it's like, oh, we got these 2 weeks that we got to jam everything in and try and remember.
I don't care. I'm telling you right now. I didn't get fall break, and I didn't get taken to Cancun every spring break or whatever else. I don't care about how much time they have off or when they want to start. And I really don't care that teachers want to go back earlier and they want to end by Memorial Day. And I tell you what, I will disagree 100% that the teachers are crying foul because they want to make sure that they get the semester done before Christmas break because they didn't care for years.
Well,
years. When the union was much stronger, they didn't care for years.
I like to get the semester over.
I got a better one for you. How about we not start school at 7:45 in the morning? Why don't we start there first? Because the average learner's brain starts at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Start that early.
The average learner's brain doesn't really start working until 9 o'clock in the morning.
But
so
also,
how about we do it that way?
Some of the average learners are also having to go to work after school because they have to put food on their
Sure,
their
they can
family's
still
table.
go to work at 4 o'clock.
Some businesses aren't. The businesses aren't staying open like they used to.
Well, you can work from home from these days. Find other things to do, other jobs. That's not the argument. The argument is if you're doing it what's best for the students, then don't start school at 7:45 in the morning.
Then you're gonna have kids who are gonna be leaving every day for sports.
8:30 is fine.
8:30 we still have kids leaving.
8:30 to 3 o'clock. You can make it work.
We go 8:30 to 3:30.
You don't have to do 8:30 to 3:30.
We in Davenport we go 8:30 to 8:35 to 3:30.
Good. Then and you have practice at 4.
Yeah, but you have games that start at 4:30. The kids are leaving school way too early.
You're taking the argument of how it's better for students to do it before Christmas break, and then turning around and saying like, yeah, but this only works out because they need to have jobs or they need to go to the average learner, which is what the most important thing is the actual student, not the student athlete or the student employee. It is the actual student, and it's proven that their brain doesn't really start working until then. An entire class period, an entire class period is already wasted. Period one. If you go that early,
we started school later, and because we were told, hey, we start at 8:30. It's going to decrease tardies. We still have people tardy. We still have the amount of tardies.
They're late for work too.
Hasn't gone down. It's gone up.
They're late for work.
My mom has a saying that some of these kids will be late to their own funerals, and I agree.
Sure.
Because we've just got too many tardies.
You guys changed it. Davenport Community School District changed up the whole high school is going to start earlier and middle school is going to start later because they didn't want the middle schoolers and high schoolers to kind of have to be around each other in case there was any type of little fights or skirmishes or whatever else. And they're trying to separate the whole thing. Be honest with everything else. They don't care about that student learner whatsoever.
I think I would like to see us start at 7:45 or 8 o'clock.
Terrible. It's a terrible idea. It is awful.
It's way too early.
It's way too early in the morning for those kids. And the fact that my daughter's going into middle school and she's starting at about that time is ridiculous to me. It really, really is. You can make it work. And I understand the employment thing, and I understand, but if you need, by the way, places are begging to hire people, so I'm pretty sure they'll adjust the schedule right now for these kids. If anything, it is an employee type of thing that I can be like, my schedule only works this way. But anyway, the argument, I get your point. I get that it should be done by the Christmas break, but it didn't really bother me that much. I care more about the timing of everything else. And that's the end of our TED Talk about education in Davenport and Bettendorf.
We could go 200 days. That'd be my favorite thing. I've always said go 200 days. Because I like big round numbers.
I would just be fine if they just got rid of block scheduling. So that'd be fine with me too. And then it can make it all work a lot easier. But they're not going to do that.
But make sure that August 27th.
There you go. Way to bring it back.
August 27th, you put on your calendar. The score starts at 10:35. You'll get all the scores, all the information, all the stats.
Full circle there. We definitely went full circle there.
They bring it back. Adrian, anything going on at Fricks tonight?
No. Softball starts though tonight. That's exciting.
Fall season starting?
Fall season starts.
Are you at Crow Creek again?
Crow Creek. QC detail.
Okay.
Go get your car detailed.
So you do double headers?
Yep, 6 and 7 tonight. Actually, be stopping in at Pines about 4 o'clock if you're going to be there.
That'd be great. I'm not. I have other things going on. I would like to go up there and see you. Maybe I'll try to. I don't know. I do have a meeting after this, and then with our friends at our bar on Utica, and then I'm going to head out to Eldridge tonight to go to ISC tournament.
Yeah.
So I
Couple
don't know.
games.
Hey, by the way, I know I said this yesterday. Would love it if ISC could update something, or if there was social media or whatever else. I don't know what you guys are doing there. I probably will waste time trying to find someone who when I'm out there. You know, I told you that our 2 local teams, they lost yesterday.
Yeah.
Then they dropped down to ISC 2, which is a lower tournament, and they were playing at noon. We're here, and I have not seen any updates. If they won, they'll both be playing at 6 tonight. So I'm just going to take a flyer and go out there and try to hope that 1 out of 2, if not both local teams, are playing tonight out at Eldridge, Sheridan Meadows. It's the ISC World Fast Pitch Tournament. So you, as stocking umpires high school softball, you'd die. About how illegal these pitchers are. I mean, you would die. But there's crow hopping. They're leaving the rubber.
There's leaping and everything. Yeah.
But it's important. My daughter wants to go out. She wants to see it. I think it's fun for them to be a part of it, and it's part of my family. So it's a big deal for us to go out there. But if you guys need something to do to get out and enjoy the weather, I suggest going out to Eldridge and seeing this. And teams from all over, from Canada. It's the World Tournament. They had to have qualifiers, and we're lucky enough to have it out there. So. But and then other than that, you can go see Adrian. He's going to be playing at 6 and 7. Field 1.
Field 1.
That's a highlight field
It's
too.
highlight field.
Yeah, awesome. Stocking, thank you so much for coming in.
My Super Bowl pick: Buffalo over Seattle.
Buffalo over Seattle. I remember you saying that one.
And the Cowboys will not have a winning record.
Okay.
Houston will have the number 1
Neither
pick.
will Indiana or Arizona State.
Dallas will have Houston will have the number 1 pick. Dallas will not have a winning record. Neither will the Bears.
A winning record?
A winning record.
Oh,
Bears.
before we go, what did you think of Fields?
He had a good performance in the against the second team.
They
all those are professional athletes.
They all had to go against the second
those
team.
Those are professional athletes.
Then look at Drew Lock and those guys and Teddy Bridgewater. There's a quarterback battle there, but they had to go against second team. They all had to go against second team.
Just keep riding with your Hoosiers.
Spin better say that it better be true with his the spin where he fumbled out of the spin because he was trying to make a highlight.
Just worry about what happens to Dallas. Just worry about Dallas, man.
I liked what Fields did. I didn't understand. I know Erickson posted something about Jordan Love. He had a 1 point percentage QB rating than Fields had or whatever else.
Jordan Love also had an MRI to see if I think he had something with his shoulder or something.
Ooh, Blake Bortles time up in Green Bay.
Blake Bortles isn't with the team.
Oh, who did they bring in?
They had Ken
for Gardner
Tebow's on his way up there.
Benekert.
Who was that guy?
He was the guy that replaced Jordan Love, and he was the last quarterback between him and Aaron Rodgers going in the 4th quarter against against Houston.
Wow. Ken Benekert for Blake Bortles. I didn't know that. Am I not following them on Twitter or something? I need to figure out why I didn't know that he's no longer there. Jeez. And all right, so you say Cowboys are not going to have a winning record.
No. The Bills and the Seahawks are not going to the Super Bowl either.
They will. Buffalo over Seattle.
All right. Well, that's an interesting take. You got some interesting takes, bud.
Josh Allen will be the MVP of the Super Bowl.
So you have the Bills win the Super Bowl.
Yes.
All right. So, yeah, let us know. I know you're going back to school and everything else. And anytime that even if you're out there and you're not at school, give us
Which
a call.
I hope I am.
Yeah, I hope you are too. I hope hope I don't get to see you again until fall break or Christmas break because you're busy. But anytime you need to make a phone call to call in, go ahead and do that for us, Stock. But I appreciate your time, you coming in here and everything else.
No problem.
Adrian, pleasure as always. Merrick's going to join us tomorrow.
Perfect.
I'm going to reach out to Emily in Buskirk so we can talk to her about her schedule for college football tomorrow, and we'll have that and much more. All right, y'all. Enjoy yourselves. Have a safe and sanitized afternoon. Take care, Quad Cities. We'll see you tomorrow.
the Vegas Gaming Cafe, this is the Quad City sports leader, ESPN 1170 AM, KBLB Davenport, a Town Square media station.